All right, Bill. We got to do a market update. It's that time again. You know, basically, a lot's been going on in Florida. So the market has flipped to a buyer's market. And what's happening is, from my research and just from me doing inspections and finding out who the owners are, you know, second home people that have second homes in Florida are starting to sell them, and a lot of Canadians are starting to sell their homes too. Okay?
Yep.
So what I did is I pulled some numbers, and because there's some people when they leave comments over here for us, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think is?" I get this all the time. What do you think is going to happen 6 months from now? Okay.
Yeah, we're in prediction season.
Yeah, we're in prediction. I can't predict what's going to happen. I give my opinion what it is, what's going to happen, and I am going to give my opinion. But then the other big question that people keep saying is, what is it a good time to buy? And that's a double-edged sword. And I'll give my opinion on that, if it's a good time to buy or what's a good time to buy. But right now, let's get a kind of, and this data, you say it all the time. When they give out these stats, you know, one source could say one thing, another source could say that. It all depends on how they word it.
Correct. And sometimes they mix and match.
And they mix and match to see what they're doing. So we're going to go through, you know, as of right now, what's going on with the market. In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, a lot of effort does go into these things and these videos. So do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. And if you need a real estate agent anywhere in Florida, just let us know. All right, let's look at the big picture, okay? So, like I said at the beginning, it's the buyers that flip to a buyer's market, okay? So choices are finally wide again. 213,570 homes for sale. That's a 5% year-over-year increase as of August 2025, and the source was Redfin.
For Florida?
For Florida, yeah.
Okay, I'd say that sounds about right for Florida.
Supply has reached a balanced market. This is what they're saying. I know, and I want to talk to you about this because this is how they came up. Supply has reached a balanced market statewide of 6 months of supply, August 2025, and that's from Redfin also.
Sounds about right.
But you said that you were saying 5 months and some other, remember in the last video?
Depends on what they're counting. Are they counting all transactions?
Yeah,
so this is where I say, like, okay, is it land? Is it condo, single family, townhome, so on and so forth? And then what, you know, if they're doing all of Florida, at least that's, but when you're looking at other stats, depending on where people are pulling, sometimes people will pull Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough. That's like Tampa Bay, or they're going to say Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Sarasota, Manatee.
And we're going to go into more of those stats, so stay till the end because there's some really interesting stats going on. So, but you're agreeing that it's a buyer's market now?
I have been for like the last couple of episodes because
I know, I just needed to get it on video.
Well, we said it the last one too because it's a balanced. Look, I think everybody in elementary school went on a balance beam, you know, and then like or a seesaw too, right? And if it's equal on each side, that it's balanced. If you push a little bit more to the one side or the other, it unbalances things, like the scales of justice and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So that is why when we go past the standard of 50-50, it's equal leverage on each side. Everybody focuses so much on numbers. Focus on leverage, right? Yes, I know numbers and leverage, they kind of go hand in hand, but who has the upper hand? So the more inventory you have, the more leverage or upper hand the buyer or the seller. And in this case now the buyers, because there's more choice. So they may not like your paint color. And before, they didn't have much of a choice. So they had to just settle for it and, well, I'll paint it, right? So when we're talking about buyers versus sellers market, like in condos, it's been a buyer's market for
oh God.
for a long time. I'm sorry. And it just is. Because there's so much choice, and that's driving the prices down. And when we're talking about a buyer's market for single-family townhome types, villas, et cetera, you know, we have a lot of choice. You can pretty much go where you want.
You hit a couple of touching points that we're going to talk about. One is price behavior. More listings are cutting list price 27.9% with price drops as of August 2025, and that's from Redfin. And
go ahead, we'll finish that. But
27.9% of people are dropping the price. Sellers, meaning market, is still getting deals done. Median days on market was 79 days. That's plus 17 days year over year as of August 2025. Again, that's Redfin.
But that makes sense. It does. It makes sense. We just got so used to for so long this rapid fire purchase that we forgot what it's like to actually have your house sit on the market for a little while. Now, you mentioned
The 79 days.
price reductions.
Yeah, price reductions, almost 28%.
Okay.
Doing price reduction.
Okay, so let's not glaze over that.
Okay, go for
Okay,
it.
because everybody glazes over this until they want to spin it some way. And price reductions could literally be $1,000. Price reductions, you had price reductions before COVID, and you're going to have price reductions after. And you're going to continue to have price reductions because that's just what happens. That's the negotiating, right? You're putting an offer out for your house to be sold. Mm-hmm. This is what you're think of it like an invitation, right? I'm going to sell my house for $450,000. Well, I'm going to come in and we're going to negotiate that. Maybe it's spot on, maybe it's a little overpriced. Depends on what numbers you pulled from the market data. You know what I mean? Just like a bank.
Well, let's go into this one then. Segment split. Condo heavy luxury areas show bigger slack. Like Miami has 9.7 months of supply as of September 2025, and that's from realtor.com. Newer single family homes holds up best. Month supply still 6 months, August 2025.
In Miami?
In Miami.
Yeah.
So you're talking about, like on condos and some luxury stuff, you're talking about 10 months.
Right. Think about that. It's condos. It's really there's not that much of a difference between the Miami condos as far as time on market than there really is here. They're a little bit longer, but there's also a lot of condos in Miami.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of luxury condos in Miami.
So like local rhythm, okay? Golf and resort corridors have the most choice. Orlando, 7 months. Tampa, 6.3 months. Jacksonville, 6.3 months of supply. Central Florida stays steady for prices right now, but they still have, like I said, 7 months. So the big picture, let's talk about the big picture of what's going on. Okay, we finished with the frenzy of negotiating. Prices dropped, like we said, 28%, according to Redfin. But nationally, that's happening too. Mm-hmm. And U.S. active listings are up 20.9% year over year.
Okay.
So now everybody's saying, well, it's Florida, it's Florida, Florida. No, it's happening, it's happening nationally.
Right. We cried so long for inventory, and now we have inventory. But think about what's causing this, right? Economic uncertainty just on a national level. Interest rates on a national level, right? That's not a Florida thing.
No.
That's not a Texas thing.
No.
That's a national thing. So these are things that are affecting everybody. Now, insurance might be hitting us a little bit harder than the average state, other than maybe California, who just went through some pretty devastating fires.
Right.
But when you're talking interest rates, that's an everybody problem, not just a Florida problem. So an affordability, regardless of where you're at, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we put a sticker of $150,000 on a house. Now maybe that's affordable here because our income levels are different here. But if we put it maybe you go to a different state where $150,000 isn't affordable to the median income for that particular state or town. Look at California. I had a customer call me and goes, Bill, I want to buy a house. This is pre-fires. This is a while ago, but they wanted to buy a house and they just didn't understand the market here.
Right.
And they're like, do you think I could get into like a 1,700 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, single family home? I'm really trying to stay in the $1.5 million range. And I kind of snickered. I'm like, well, we're going to have problems trying to find you
houses
a house because it's too much money, So but that's their income level there. Things are just different.
Here, this is from NAR. This was an interesting one. Florida remains number one for foreign buyers. 21% of U.S. foreign deals, basically, out of the whole United States, 21% of the foreign deals, Florida is still like Florida.
Yeah.
And Canadians, are 14%, even though a lot of them are selling, the ones that are buying, they're paying cash. Many Canadians use cash
Wow.
using the rate paying. So I mean, it's Canadians who have mortgages or financial stresses because things aren't that great up in Canada right now. Um, but then people with money are putting their money into this stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, if you think about that, if you're buying cash, if it's a second home, right, and you're buying it cash, you're probably doing pretty well financially, and the interest rates are irrelevant to you.
Yeah, nearly half buy for vacation or rentals.
Mm-hmm.
And like 20% do both. Like they'll Airbnb it or something.
Yeah, the midterm or short-term rental it. It doesn't have to be Airbnb. They can midterm or short-term rent it, or do it like 8 months.
A lot of people are focusing when the people that are buying, especially with cash, according to NAR, they want a turnkey thing. People aren't looking for fixer-uppers anymore, unless they're investors and stuff. But it says a lot of people now that they have more choices, they want to get into a home that's pretty much turnkey.
Yeah, and that comes from choice. I think some of the conversations that I've been having lately is a lot of people are saying, well, I want turnkey. I don't want to have to do anything. And they'll literally walk away from a house because they don't like the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it has carpet in the bedrooms. I'm not going to deal with that.
That's one of the big changes that happen in real estate.
It's just because they have choice. So what I have found, though, when that generally happens, they have found that there's something wrong with every house.
Right.
And then they part of the process is me kind of helping guide them through that. There's always going to be something
which
that
one
you
has
have
the
to
least
change.
amount of problems.
Right. It's like which one, and it's not a problem. It's which one has the least amount of things that you don't want to change, right? What things are easy to change.
And flippers have to be a lot more better than that. I just did 2 videos about flipping. Make sure you guys watch that. And like this guy was rude when I got to the house, and he basically said, "This house is perfect. This house is perfect," and forget it. It was far from perfect. Watch the video. But my point is, if investors and flippers think they're going to buy a house and try to make shortcuts now with all the choices out there, they're in for it.
Yeah, and please, if you're buying a house this goes for any house in general, please make sure they pull permits.
Oh, yeah. I actually go over that. All right, let's talk about the different areas around Florida. Okay, Miami Metro, deep inventory, 9.7 months, according to realtor.com. Price is still firm for medium price house. The median price house is $670,000. It's still up 8.9% year over year as of August, according to Redfin.
Mm-hmm.
So inventory is up, but prices still are up.
Yeah.
They haven't collapsed there yet. Let's talk about Tampa. Tampa, 6.3 months of supply. Listings year over year. Tampa listings are up 16.3%.
16.
16.
Okay.
0.3% in Tampa. That's kind of high. And I think a lot of
16% of what?
Year over year, just listings in general.
Yeah, but I mean 16% off of 2,000 listings, or 16% off of like 30,000 listings. That's what I mean. That's
Well,
what I didn't know if it said.
whatever it was, they didn't give me the number. Jacksonville, balanced but softening, 6.3 months. Price reductions nearly a third. 30% of the homes in Jacksonville are getting price cuts. Orlando, stock, 7 months of supply. Days on market is climbing. Now the Florida median days on market is 79 days in Orlando.
Okay.
Okay. Older high HOA condo discounts, forget about it. I won't even go into these numbers. Like in Miami, we're going over 100 days.
Yeah, I see that a lot here too.
Like the condos, and I wrote down a whole list of why, but I think we beat it with a horse, because of insurance.
There's a lot that goes into it.
It goes into it, Some mortgage companies don't even want, they're saying there's a blacklist. Not that I've ever seen it, but some mortgage companies will keep away from certain buildings.
Well, no, that's true. They do. Certain mortgage companies, you have to be, you have to fill out what's called a condo questionnaire for the mortgage company to have it approved.
Yeah.
So if the condo's not on the list, then it has to go through the approval process, which costs whoever the first person is that draws that straw. You got to pay for it. It's a couple $100. and then once the building is approved for that particular lender, then it's fair game and it comes up. But it's just another process, and they go through the books and the budgets and maintenance, and it's to protect them, them as the lender, meaning the lender.
In Florida, seller psychology, okay, basically now 27.9% are realizing that, hey, things have changed. So now some people are going into the market, according to this article, with the right price point for their house.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Let's not go glazing over this one.
Okay.
Do you see that there is a direct correlation with price reductions and what that just said?
Right. They're realizing it. They're like, why waste time?
You can either go aspirational pricing, which is a total strategy, and I completely understand it. But if I can't tell you how many times I've had these conversations, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side. Remember I just told you about that one negotiation. The seller refused to come down at all. And I'm like, but nothing has sold at the price that you're asking for. Yeah. And then eventually, because we moved on to something else,
yeah, I wasn't going to bring this up, but you're going to get a kick out of this. When I was doing the research for that one, okay, what the article goes what they're saying is there was so many real estate agents in the industry because during the unicorn years that they stayed in it, and then when prices dropped, they would take on any client at any price as long as they get the listing, because they thought listings were going to be king, and that's what you want is listings. And so all these new real estate agents got all these listings, and they're like, oh, look, I'm doing great. Then they realized nobody was buying the homes. They were a lot of work, and they were priced too high. So now a lot of them quit the industry, hung up their licenses, like home inspectors. Now the ones that are remaining, okay, have been in the industry a very long time. So when they go look at a listing and they talk to a potential new client, they're like, hey, if you want to sell this house, this is the price. Otherwise, don't waste my time. So they're saying, like, basically the concept, the UB real estate agents, I'm not beating up real estate agents, but they were like, hey, I just want the listing.
So what happens is when you come in, if they don't have the data, they'll say, because I've heard some agents do this. I mean, just physically, just in the office, heard them do this. And they're like, well, and I ask people, what do you think your home is worth? And I have everything already written out, so it doesn't change my pitch whatsoever as to what they think their home is worth or what their home isn't worth, because it's already written down, so it doesn't change anything for me. And that's how it works. It works so much better that way. But then if they're at an unrealistic price. Right. And then you just have to have that conversation. If you're listing aspirational, which is, like I said before, it was a strategy, but if your aspirational pricing is just outrageous pricing, then certain agents in the past, and even still today, will just say yes, because they want to grab the listing, and then they figure, well, I'll just price reduce down, right? They'll just price reduce down after a few months.
Yeah, because they're waiting for that unicorn buyer to come in,
And that's fine, and you can do that. I mean, that's a strategy. You can test the market, but if there's tons of comps and none of them have sold at the price that you're wanting to go to market, and there's nothing at your house that sets yours apart, then how do you justify the price?
The prices just came down. That's it.
Right. And it's, again, kind of back to what the statement was even a couple comments ago early, was they're starting to realize that I can't just ask for things that were a year ago.
Right. True.
Sellers can't do that. And it's taken a while for people to understand that. Some people understand it and some people don't. Nobody wants to leave money on the table. But then when you're looking at inventory, time on market, I don't have a problem sitting in my house for 3 months. Who cares? There's a correlation to days on market and whether or not people are going to look at your house and think that there's something wrong with your house. And statistically, people who sit on market longer
100%
sell
true
for less money.
100% true.
They sell for less money every time.
That's a true statement.
That's out of statistics. We're
right.
talking statistics.
My opinion for everybody, okay? My opinion is this. If you need to live someplace, you need to live someplace. If you want to buy a house, you can buy a house. I think there's plenty of good deals out there. I don't think that, and you can counter anything I'm saying, I don't think that there's a magic way to figure out when is the bottom of the market, because you may think this is the bottom of the market and it could drop more, or I may think this is going to get worse in 6 months from now, and actually things will get better. So it's impossible to predict. But I think you should be choosy on what you buy. I don't think you should settle. You might have to settle a little bit, but I think the market is going to be like this. I think it's going to be a buyer's market for the next 12 months. Okay, that's how far I'll go to predict buyer's market. And the price, the people that in the comments are saying, hey, we're going to see 30, 40% price drop, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see how, without some sort of a
something bad.
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 Like, and that's great. And if you're hoping for something horrible to the country to happen, to where the homes come down 40%, remember, there's another side to that coin. You might not have a job.
Yeah.
There could be some other caveats. Just remember what happened last time. And that was they call it unicorn because that was an anomaly.
So let's say, give you an example. The government shuts down, okay? And let's say it's shut down for a long period of time. People get laid off. That affects the housing market. You know, these tariffs, you know, if they hit the wrong industry, will affect the housing market. You know, when the feds lower the rates 0.25%, that's not a direct effect to the mortgage rates.
No.
Okay? Because if demand goes up for mortgages, interest rates will go down. Demand goes down, interest rates will drop. It's all, you know, it's so hard to predict. So my advice is, don't try to time the market. Don't do that. But look for a house and be choosy. Really be choosy, okay? Because don't just settle. You don't have to do that anymore. Those days are over with, at least for, in my opinion, next 12 months. Okay, what do you think next year?
I'm not putting a timeline on anything because I think that's just silly, because we don't know. There's too many unknowns. What I do know is that off of data-wise, have we hit bottom? I have no idea.
No.
Nobody knows, because you know who controls that? The market.
But you do see videos all the time. Oh, we're going to see a 20% reduction. I watch, I go to YouTube, I see them all the time. 30%. Market's crashing, market's crashing. You know, we're in a recession, we're not in a recession.
Right, and I'm like, okay. So I get out of the negativity side of things. I stop watching them because I just can't watch all that negative stuff all the time. It really starts to affect your brain.
But you agree
really
it's a buyer's market, they should be choosy.
So I think people should, I don't care what market it is, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's you buy a house that you can afford, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't strap you. When the time is right for you in your situation, and I say it all the time, don't let other people push you into one direction or another. Now, have I had conversations with some people recently? Yeah. And I said, now's probably not the time to buy. Simply because the interest rates are higher. Yes, they have some good deals, but they either have to come up with so much money to get the payment down to an affordable, comfortable mortgage that, God forbid, something doesn't happen, you know, to where they can't work, or somebody gets sick, or their kid gets sick, something along those lines, those unforeseeable things. But they were stretching themselves so far.
Oh, yeah.
And you just can't do that. So that's where it's like, you either have to save up some more money and maybe you pay a little bit more for the house. But timing the market, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Because think about this. If the interest rates come down to, 5.25, you think that the prices of the houses are going to continue to drop?
No.
Because all the sideliners will start to filter back into the market and then start eating up all that inventory. And then now that pendulum is going to start swinging the other direction, and you're going to start losing choice, and you're going to start losing control again as a buyer.
And people have to realize the buyers that want a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with an office, you're not the only, that's not a unique thing.
That is the standard. I can almost say every conversation I have.
I know, it's just, I hear it all the time.
Oh, I really, look, it's going to be, I need a 3-2-2,
Yeah,
and I'd really like an office. Okay.
yeah. It's like the standard saying. So if rates drop to 5.25, you know, because I get like people calling, they're looking for real estate agents all the time. And then I'm talking to them, it's like, what are you looking for? Let me guess. A 3.2 at least, and like the 350,000 to 450,000 range. And you want an office because you want to work from home, and you want this, this, and this. They're like, yeah, how did you know?
You
Lucky
and everybody
guess.
else.
Lucky guess. So what my point on that one is, if it goes down to 5.25, that house that's just like that, you're going to have competition.
There's going to be a lot of competition, and then those days of, oh man, I was negotiating a new roof, or I was able to negotiate a credit so that somebody can come in and paint or change those carpets that you didn't like. And don't be super picky, because there is no perfect house. I don't care where you could have built the thing. Once you live in it for a little bit, you will find something
Listen, I've
that's
been in my house
perfect.
for years, and it's not the perfect house.
There's no such thing as a perfect house. So
There's none. Anyways, that's today's video. Do me a favor, again, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. If you need a real estate agent, or you want to talk more about this, my phone number is below. Give me a call or send me a text, and we'll talk to you in the next one. And watch this video right here. I picked it out just for you guys. It's probably going to be the video about that crazy freaking house I did the inspection for the flip. Talk to you soon.
thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye.